Human boy helps old alien lady who got lost and then she, in front of him. In the underbelly of Helios Ring, where shadows swallow secrets whole, a single act of kindness could unlock doors to worlds no slum kid ever dreamed of touching. But what if that door led straight to a trap, wired with the galaxy's deadliest code? Ethan Hale dodged another puddle of glowing runoff. At 17, he moved like he owned the crack streets of Zephyr Ward. Broad shoulders strained under his patched jacket. Brown hair stuck to his forehead in the humid air. Gray eyes scanned ahead, always. The ward never slept. 3 million souls crammed into 12 square kilometers of rust and neon. Humans like him rubbed elbows with aliens sporting tentacles or extra limbs. Towering hab blocks leaned like drunk giants. Hollow ads flickered overhead, promising escape from the grind. But down here, survival meant hustling tech scraps door to door. Ethan gripped his delivery satchel tighter. Another run for Mr. Krell's junkyard empire. "Keep moving, kid," he muttered to himself. The air hummed with drone whines and vendor shouts. His shift ended in an hour. If he nailed this drop, maybe enough creds for a real meal. Halfway down a narrow alley, his drone glitched. The little quadcopter sputtered, payload wobbling. Ethan cursed under his breath. "Not now, you piece of—" He snatched it midair. Fingers danced over the casing. Something in him clicked with machines. Always had. Like they whispered back. A quick twist of wires. A scavenged capacitor from his pocket. The drone steadied. Propellers thrummed smoothly again. Ethan grinned. Rare tip incoming. He set it back on course, watching it zip toward the hab ahead. The market sprawled at the alley's end. Stalls overflowed with bootleg implants and synth fruit. Bargains flew in a dozen tongues. Ethan weaved through the crush. That's when he saw her. An old alien woman stood frozen amid the chaos. Silvery purple skin caught the neon glow. Green robes hung loose, embroidered with threads that shifted like living vines. She clutched a crystalline hover chair. Eyes darted, lost. Passers-by shoved past. No one stopped. In Zephyr Ward, weakness was a target. Ethan paused. Why her? Elites didn't wander slums. But something tugged. He slung his satchel over one shoulder. Approached slowly. "Hey, ma'am, you okay? Looking a bit turned around." She blinked up at him, voice soft, laced with an upper district lilt. The spires. Laurent Spires. My navigation failed." Laurent Spires. Ethan knew the name. Crystal tower piercing the clouds. Home to the ring's 1%ers. 2 kilometers of pure luxury, floating above the filth. "That's a hike from here. Gangs own these alleys. Let me help. Name's Ethan." She nodded. Frail hand on his arm. Seraphine. Lady Seraphine Laurent. The hover chair whirred to life as they started. But 10 steps in, it faltered. Crystals dimmed. Wheels scraped pavement. Seraphine gripped the arms. "Oh dear, not again." Ethan knelt fast. Popped a panel. Scanned the guts. Power cell fried. "Hold tight." He rummaged through his satchel. Pulled a scavenged cell from a busted comm unit. Jury rigged the swap. Sparks flew briefly. Chair hummed back online. Seraphine watched him work. Eyes are sharp now. "You have a gift with these things. Most would leave me." "Most are idiots," Ethan said. He stood dusting his hands. "Come on, this way." The path twisted through gang turf. Red gang markers were sprayed on walls. Low hum of enforcer bikes in the distance. Ethan kept pace steadily. Talked to fill the quiet. "Ward life's rough, but machines? They're honest. Break 'em right. They don't bite back." Seraphine smiled faintly. "Honesty is rare here. Like you." A shout echoed ahead. Skirmish brewing. 2 gangs clashed at a crossroads. Plasma knives lit the dark, blue arcs slicing air. Stun batons crackled, dropping a fighter with a thud. Bystanders scattered. Ethan pulled Seraphine into the shadow. "Down, stay low." Heart pounded. He eyed a side vent. Through here, quick! They crawled. The chair scraped narrow. Ethan pushed from behind. Almost there. Emerged into a quieter lane. Breathes heavily. No pursuit. Seraphine straightened her robes. You risk much for a stranger. Worth it, Ethan shrugged. Besides, beats another drone crash. The spires loomed closer. Their base gleamed, force field shimmering. Guards in sleek armor patrolled the gates. Ethan stopped at the perimeter. This is you. Safe travels, lady. She turned, hand on his. Warm, despite the alien chill. Ethan Hale, that name suits you. A pause, eyes locked with his. The Helios Institute of Technology. Ever dreamed of it? Ethan laughed short. Slum rat like me? Dreams cost creds. Not this one. She tapped a comband. I'll sponsor you. Full ride. If you want it. He froze, gray eyes wide. Sponsor? From nowhere? The Institute trained the elite. Xenotech wizards, not orphans scraping by. You serious? Why? Your heart, boy. Rare is that gift of yours. She smiled again. Think on it. My people will find you. The gate parted. She floated in. Guards nodded deferent. Ethan stood there, satchel heavy on his back. The neon buzzed on. Why me? I'm just a slum rat. Can I trust her, or is this another trap? He turned back to the ward. Steps slower now. The air felt thicker. Secrets stirred in the shadows. And for the first time, Zephyr Ward's grind tasted like possibility. But possibility had teeth. He felt it watching. Ethan Hale stood rigid in his dark blue academy uniform, gray eyes scanning the floating amphitheater of the Helios Institute. 6 years had carved the Zephyr Ward kid into a man of 23, broad shoulders now filling the tailored fabric. Brown hair cropped short, he blended among the elite, but his calloused hands betrayed his roots. The Institute's campus orbited Helios Ring, a gleaming disk of steel and glass housing 5,000 students. Xenotechnology pulsed through its halls, training minds to sync with alien machines. Ethan was the best. His knack for neural interfacing outpaced peers, syncing with tech in milliseconds where others took seconds. The graduation ceremony thrummed with energy. Hollow screens projected the 1,200 graduates in crisp rows. Above, the ring's curvature glittered against a star field. Below, Zephyr Ward's neon scars flickered far off. Ethan's chest tightened. 6 years of grinding, sponsored by Lady Seraphine. He'd clawed to valedictorian. Today he'd claim his place. The crowd hushed as Seraphine took the stage. Her silvery purple skin shimmered under the lights, green robes flowing like liquid jade. She leaned on a crystalline cane now, not a hover chair. Ethan's gut stirred. She looked frailer than he remembered. Her voice echoed, calm but firm. You are the future of the galaxy's tech. Use it wisely. Then it happened. Mid-sentence, her skin flickered, unnatural pulses of bioluminescence. She gasped, clutched her chest. The cane clattered. She crumpled. Screams broke the silence. Ethan's heart lurched. He shoved through the crowd, instinct overriding decorum. Move! He barked. Chaos erupted. 200 security drones swarmed the hall, their red sensors scanning for toxins. Students scrambled, knocking over chairs. Ethan reached Seraphine's side. Her breath was shallow, eyes half open. Hold on, he muttered, scanning her vitals with a wristcom. Pulse erratic. Something was wrong, badly. A drone hovered close, its scanner whining. Ethan's fingers flew across his comm. He'd hacked worse in the slums. Code scrolled fast. He isolated the toxin's signature, a nanotoxin banned by the Interplanetary Council for its precision. Lethal in micrograms. Someone wanted her dead. Footsteps clicked behind him. A young woman knelt beside him, silvery blue hair catching the light, golden eyes sharp with focus. Aurelia Laurent, Seraphine's niece, moved with a fencer's grace in a sleek bodysuit. She's stable, but not for long, she said, voice low. We need to move her. Ethan glanced up. You know who did this? Aurelia's jaw tightened. Not here. Help me get her out. The drones locked the hall down. Force fields hummed at every exit, glowing blue walls of energy. Ethan's mind raced. He'd faced worse odds in Zephyr's alleys. Cover me. He crouched by a control panel, rerouting power with a spliced cable from his pocket. The force field flickered, then dropped for a 3-second gap. Go! They hauled Seraphine through, her weight heavy between them. The corridor beyond was sleek, all chrome and soft lights, but Uplink Security's boots echoed close. Ethan's comm pinged, a hidden message embedded in Seraphine's cane, now in Aurelia's grip. Coordinates, a place called the Orpheus Vault. Aurelia's eyes flicked to his. You're not like the others. Reckless, but I trust you. Her voice was steady, but her gaze held a question. Ethan grunted. Don't get sentimental. We're not safe yet. He tapped his comm, pulling up a map. The coordinates pointed to below Laurent's spires, a secret lab. His pulse quickened. Answers were close, but so were the drones. They slipped into a service lift, descending fast. The Institute's hum faded, replaced by the low thrum of Helios Ring's underbelly. Ethan's fingers twitched. He'd synced with alien tech before, but this felt bigger, dangerous. Seraphine's shallow breaths filled the silence. Whoever poisoned her wasn't playing small. This was Axiom Biotech style, ruthless, precise, galaxy-sized ambition. The lift stopped. A dark tunnel stretched ahead, lit by faint emergency strips. Aurelia adjusted Seraphine's weight. Vault's closed. You ready for what's down there? Ethan's gray eyes narrowed. Born ready. A lie. His gut churned. Whatever the vault held, it was tied to Seraphine's collapse. To him. In the past, he'd been buried in Zephyr's slums. Uplink Security's lights flashed at the tunnel's mouth. Drones whirred, closing in. Ethan cracked his knuckles. We move fast. No stopping. He led the way, satchel bouncing, every step a gamble. The vault was a beacon now, pulling him toward truth or a trap. Aurelia kept pace, her bodysuit glinting. She didn't speak, but her glance said enough. This human, this slum kid, had her trust. For now. Ethan felt the weight of it. He wasn't just running from drones. He was running towards something that could break him. The tunnel curved. A sealed door loomed, etched with alien runes. The Orpheus Vault. Ethan's hand hovered over the lock. His tech sense tingled, like the door was alive, waiting. Here we go, he whispered. The drone's hum grew louder. Time was up. The door to the Orpheus Vault hissed open, revealing a subterranean lab pulsing with bioluminescent light. Ethan Hale led the way, gray eyes sharp, his patched satchel slung tight. Aurelia Laurent followed, supporting Lady Seraphine's frail form, her silvery blue hair glowing faintly in the dim. The air smelled of ozone and sterile metal, the lab's walls lined with crystalline arrays that shimmered like living stars. 50 petabytes of data hummed within, a digital heartbeat beneath Laurent's spire's gleaming facade. Ethan's boots echoed on the polished floor. The vault was a maze of tech, consoles, hollow projectors, and sealed chambers. Alien runes glowed along the walls, their patterns tugging at his tech sense. He'd hacked junkyard drones, but this was another league. Stay sharp, he muttered, scanning for traps. Aurelia nodded, her golden eyes darting to the shadows. They eased Seraphine onto a cushioned platform. Her breathing steadied, but the nanotoxin's glow still flickered under her skin. Ethan knelt, checking her vitals with his wristcom. Stable, barely. Time was tight. He turned to a central console, its interface pulsing with unfamiliar glyphs. His fingers moved fast, syncing instinctively. Lines of code danced in his mind, alien but not alien, like a language he'd always known. A hologram flared to life. A voice, mechanical yet warm, filled the chamber. The progenitor protocol, A biomatrix for seeding life across 10,000 star systems. Images spun, planets blooming with forests, oceans teeming, species rising from dust. Not a divine race, but tech. Self-replicating, galaxy-shaping tech. Ethan froze. His parents, space engineers, flashed in his mind. Dead when he was 10. An accident. The hologram shifted, showing their faces. They encoded a soft lock, it said, a genetic key to protect the protocol. Ethan's blood, his genes. The key was him. His gut twisted. My parents died for this. I'm no hero, just a key they want to crack open. He clenched his fists, nails biting palms. Aurelia touched his shoulder, brief but firm. We'll figure it out, she said, voice low. No fluff, just resolve. She tapped another console, decoding a warning. Axiom Biotech. They want the protocol. Turn it into a weapon. Her fingers flew, pulling up files. Axiom, a megacorp with 12 trillion credits, had orchestrated his parents' deaths. The hologram flickered, showing simulations. A genetic plague. Entire worlds rewritten to Axiom's will. Ethan's jaw tightened. They'd kill for this. Had killed. A low growl echoed. Uplink security breached the vault's entrance. 20 synth hounds charged, their plasma-coated claws sparking against the floor. Each stood a meter tall, eyes glowing red, tracking by heat and motion. Ethan's pulse spiked. Get behind me! He dove to a console, hands a blur. His tech sense locked onto the hound's sensors. Overload them. He rerouted power, frying their circuits with a 30-second surge. Sparks flew. The hounds froze, claws scraping, then collapsed in a heap. Smoke curled from their frames. Aurelia grabbed his arm. Nice, but more's coming. Her bodysuit glinted as she pulled Seraphine upright. The old woman stirred, murmuring, The wardens? Find them. Ethan didn't ask. No time. He hacked the vault's exit, a hidden panel sliding open. Footsteps thundered closer. Uplink's human enforcers now, armed with pulse rifles. Ethan and Aurelia dragged Seraphine through the passage, sealing it behind them. The tunnel was tight, the air stale. Ethan's comm buzzed, picking up a faint signal. A beacon. Light flared ahead. Figures in glowing armor emerged, photon lances humming. The warden's conclave. Their leader, a tall figure with a visored helm, spoke sharply. Ethan Hale, Aurelia Laurent, with us, now. Ethan hesitated. Who the hell are you? No time, the warden snapped. Axiom's on your tail. A portal shimmered behind them, rippling like liquid starlight. Ethan's tech sense screamed alien tech beyond anything he'd touched. Aurelia pushed Seraphine forward. Trust them, she said, golden eyes locking his. We've got no choice. Ethan gritted his teeth. Axiom's drones whined in the distance. He stepped through the portal, Aurelia and Seraphine beside him. Reality warped, colors bending. The vault vanished. They emerged in a chamber of shifting walls, half metal, half light. Sanctum Argent, the warden's stronghold. Ethan's head spun, but his tech sense steadied him, syncing with the strange space. The leader removed their helm, revealing a scarred face. I'm Evan. You're here to save the protocol or doom us all? Ethan's hands balled into fists. His parents' deaths, the nanotoxin, the hounds, it all pointed here. To him. To whatever he carried. No pressure, huh? He said, voice dry. Evan's eyes narrowed. The crucible Athena awaits. Pass it or the galaxy burns. The portal's hum faded. Silence settled. Ethan felt Axiom's shadow closing in, a noose tightening. The vault had cracked open the truth, but the fight was just starting. Ethan Hale stumbled out of the portal, boots hitting the shifting floor of Sanctum Argent. The chamber pulsed, walls morphing every 7 minutes, metal to crystal, then to liquid light. His gray eyes darted, tech sense buzzing like a live wire. The place was alive, powered by a quantum core humming at 10 to 15 cycles per second. Aurelia Laurent steadied Lady Seraphine beside him, her silvery blue hair catching the glow. The old woman's breathing was shallow, nanotoxin still flickering under her silvery purple skin. Ethan's patch satchel hung heavy, a reminder of the slums he'd left behind. Warden Evan led them deeper, his glowing armor clanking softly. A photon lance hung at his side, its edge sharp enough to slice titanium alloy. "Keep up," he said, voice low through his visor. Ethan's jaw tightened. These Warden's conclave types didn't mess around. Secret society vibes screamed trouble, but Axiom's pursuit left no options. The corridor twisted, walls reshaping mid-step. Ethan's tech sense pinged, mapping the quantum shifts. "This place is nuts," he muttered. Aurelia shot him a look, golden eyes sharp. "Focus. We're not safe yet." Her bodysuit hugged her frame, designed for combat, not show. She adjusted Seraphine's weight, her strength surprising for her slim build. Evan stopped at a vaulted chamber. A hollow table glowed, projecting Axiom Biotech's fleet, 50 stealth frigates, each packing antimatter torpedoes with a 10-megaton yield. Ethan's stomach dropped. "They're hunting us. Hard." Evan nodded. "They want your genes, Hale. The progenitor's soft lock." Ethan's fist clenched. His parents' faces flashed. "Engineers, murdered for this." "So I'm bait?" Evan's scarred face stayed stone cold. "You're the key. The Crucible Athena will test if you're worthy." Aurelia cut in, voice steady but tight. "What's this Crucible deal?" Evan pointed to a sealed pod, its surface etched with runes. "A neural trial. It wakes the protocol in his blood, or breaks him." Ethan's tech sense prickled. The pod felt like a trap, but also a door. To what, he didn't know. Aurelia set Seraphine on a nearby bench, then turned to Ethan. Her voice softened. "My genes. They're not just Laurent. There's something else, connected to you." Her golden eyes held his, stirring unease. Ethan's brow furrowed. "What's that supposed to mean?" She hesitated. "Your mom. Her DNA's in me. Grafted." Ethan's chest tightened. His mother? In her? Before he could press, Evan snapped, "Later, train now, talk after." Evan tossed Ethan a neural gauntlet, a sleek glove pulsing with microcircuits. "Sync with Sanctum systems. It'll amplify your tech sense." Ethan slipped it on, fingers tingling as his mind linked to the core. Data flooded in, layouts, defenses, weapon grids. His reflexes sharpened, like the ward's drones but 1,000 times faster. A hollow alarm blared. Axiom's frigates closed in, 0.3 light-years out. Ethan's comm picked up their chatter. "Target acquired. Secure the soft lock." Evan's voice cut through. "We've got a decoy signal out. Buys us maybe an hour." He led them to a training bay where drones whirred, firing low-yield lasers. Ethan dodged, gauntlet syncing his moves to Sanctum's rhythm. A laser grazed his shoulder, stinging but not cutting. "Sloppy," Evan growled. "Again." Aurelia joined, piloting a sim skiff through a virtual barrage. Her hands danced over controls, dodging with 0.1 second precision. Ethan watched, impressed. She wasn't just talking, but her words lingered. His mother's DNA? The thought gnawed, mixing with the weight of the crucible. Evan's perspective shifted as he watched Ethan. The kid was raw, but his heart outshone his tech. He's scared, Evan thought, but he's not running. That's something. He adjusted a drone's settings, upping the challenge. Ethan parried a laser with the gauntlet, redirecting it to a target. Progress. The bay's wall shifted again, revealing a viewport. Stars burned beyond, but Axiom's shadow loomed. Ethan trained harder, sweat beading. The gauntlet hummed, boosting his reflexes to near superhuman. He sliced a drone in half with a protoblade, its edge vibrating at 10,000 hertz. "Not bad," he panted, but doubt gnawed. Was he ready for the crucible? Aurelia caught his eye, her voice low. You're carrying the galaxy's future, Ethan. I see the fear in those gray eyes. She didn't sugarcoat it. He liked that. But the truth hit hard. His parents died for this. Now Axiom wanted him. And Aurelia's genes tied her to his past. Too many questions, no time for answers. Evan clapped a hand on Ethan's shoulder. Crucible's next. Pass it, or we're all dead. The chamber's hum grew louder, Sanctum's core pulsing faster. Ethan's tech sense locked onto it, steadying his nerves. Axiom was coming. The decoy wouldn't hold forever. He glanced at Aurelia, then Seraphine, still pale but stirring. The old woman's eyes opened briefly, locking on his. "You'll know, when it's time," she whispered. Ethan nodded, throat tight. The crucible waited. So did Axiom. And somewhere in his blood, the galaxy's fate was ticking. Ethan Hale stood before the crucible Athena's pod, its runed surface pulsing like a heartbeat. Sanctum Argent's shifting walls framed the chamber, their liquid metal curves bending light into fractal patterns. His gray eyes narrowed, tech sense tingling as the neural gauntlet on his hand synced with the pod's interface. Aurelia Laurent stood nearby, silvery blue hair catching the glow, her golden eyes watching him with quiet intensity. Lady Seraphine rested on a medical slab, her breathing steadier but still weak, the nanotoxin's glow fading slowly. Warden Evan's voice cut through the hum. "Step in, Hale. The crucible will rip you apart or make you whole." His photon lance gleamed, a reminder of the stakes. Ethan's jaw clenched. The pod wasn't just tech, it was judgment. His blood held the progenitor protocol, a galaxy-shaping force. Pass this, or Axiom Biotech would turn it into a weapon. He stepped inside. The pod sealed with a hiss, plunging him into darkness. Then light exploded, a virtual galaxy spanning 100,000 light-years. Stars swirled, planets spun. Ethan's mind reeled, the gauntlet anchoring him to the simulation. A voice, cold and vast, echoed, "Choose, soft lock, power or purpose." The first vision hit. Ethan stood on a dead world, ash choking the air. A choice: hoard the protocol, rule 1,000 systems with iron will, or share it, heal billions. He saw himself crowned, fleets kneeling, tempting but hollow. "No," he growled, "it's not mine to keep." The vision shattered. Reality warped again. A battlefield. 1,000 Axiom drones swarmed, each firing 50 micro-missiles per second. Ethan's gauntlet pulsed, materializing a proto-blade. Its edge vibrated at 10,000 hertz, humming with raw energy. He moved, reflexes boosted to 0.02-second reaction times. Missiles streaked. He slashed, blade carving through shields like paper. Drones fell in sparks, their wrecks piling high. Sweat stung his eyes, but he didn't stop. The protocol in his blood sang, sinking his body to the fight. The second vision struck. Aurelia stood before him, golden eyes pleading. The voice returned. "Sacrifice her to secure the protocol. One life for trillions." Ethan's chest tightened. Her face, tied to his mother's DNA, felt like home. "No way," he spat. "She's not a pawn." The vision dissolved, but the weight lingered. The final test loomed. A council of species, human, alien, and hybrid, stared him down. The voice pressed. "Will you value one kind over another?" Images flashed. Humans thriving while aliens withered, or vice versa. Ethan's fist balled. "Equal. All of them. No one gets left behind." The galaxy in his mind pulsed, approving. The pod hummed louder, the protocol waking in his veins. His senses sharpened, colors brighter, sounds crisper. He felt enemy movements before they happened, a 95% prediction rate. The pod's walls glowed, sinking completely. Ethan staggered out, gasping. Evan's scarred face broke into a rare nod. "You passed, kid. Heart stronger than your tech." Aurelia's perspective shifted as she watched him emerge. He's not just a slum rat. He's carrying this fight, scared or not. She stepped closer, hand brushing his. "You okay?" she asked, voice soft but urgent. Ethan nodded, catching his breath. "Yeah, barely." But the chamber shook. Alarms blared, red lights strobing. Evan snapped upright. "Axiom's here. Breach the outer defenses." 200 neuro-disruptor drones were inbound, their signals scrambling neural pathways on contact. Sanctum's quantum core flickered, struggling to hold its phasing state. Ethan's gauntlet buzzed, feeding him data. Axiom's fleet, 50 frigates, had bypassed the decoy signal. They were close, antimatter torpedoes primed. He synced with Sanctum's systems, rerouting power to countermeasure grids. "We hold them off," he said, voice steady now. The protocol thrummed in him, a live current. Evan handed him a second proto-blade, its grip warm. "You fight with us. No sitting this out." Ethan gripped it, testing the weight. Aurelia readied her own weapon, a compact pulse carbine, its barrel glowing faintly. "Stay close," she said, eyes locking his. No hesitation. The chamber's viewport showed Axiom's drones closing in, their sleek hulls glinting against the stars. Sanctum's walls shifted faster, a defensive reflex. Ethan's tech sense mapped their patterns, feeding him weak points. He glanced at Aurelia, then Seraphine, still pale but stirring. The old woman's lips moved. "Protect the protocol." Ethan's resolve hardened. The crucible had tested his heart. Axiom would test his nerve. The drone's hum grew louder, a swarm descending. He raised his blade, the protocol's energy coursing through him. "Let's do this," he said, voice low but fierce. The first drone crashed through, its disruptor field sparking. Ethan lunged, blade slicing clean. Sparks rained. The fight was on. The chamber of Sanctum Argent shuddered as Axiom Biotech's drones breached the outer perimeter, their neuro-disruptor fields crackling like a storm. Ethan Hale gripped his proto-blade, its 10,000 hertz hum syncing with the progenitor protocol pulsing in his veins. His gray eyes burned, tech sense mapping the chaos. Aurelia Laurent stood back-to-back with him, her pulse carbine glowing hot, silvery blue hair whipping as she tracked targets. Sanctum's walls twisted, metal and light folding in frantic defense, powered by a quantum core now flickering under strain. Director Varen's voice boomed through hacked comms, cold and sharp. "This slum rat thinks he can outsmart me? His genes are mine." 500 elite soldiers in graphene exosuits stormed behind the drones, their boots shaking the phasing floor. Varen led them, his implanted arm glowing, hacking Sanctum's core with ruthless precision. Ethan's gauntlet screamed data. 200 drones, each pulsing disruptor waves to fry neural links. He dodged a blast, reflexes at 0.2 seconds, the protocol boosting his perception to a 95% hit rate. "Stay tight," he shouted to Aurelia. She fired, carbine bolts tearing through a drone's hull. Sparks sprayed, metal screeching as it crashed. Sanctum's ion cannons roared to life, Ethan rerouting power through his gauntlet. 10 terajoules of energy blasted out, vaporizing 30% of Axiom's fleet in a single volley. The viewport flared white, frigates spinning into debris. But Varen's hack pushed harder, destabilizing the core. Walls glitched, half fading into conceptual space. If the core failed, they'd all be trapped in a void no one understood. Aurelia piloted a Warden skiff, its thrusters screaming as she weaved through laser barrages with 0.1-second maneuvers. "Ethan, cover me!" she yelled, voice raw. He slashed a drone mid-flight, its disruptor field grazing his arm, numbing it briefly. The protocol kicked in, nerves rewiring fast. He shook it off, blade carving another. Varen's perspective burned with contempt. "This kid's a glitch in my plan. His blood will build an immortal army." His exosuit hummed, amplifying his strength tenfold. He aimed a plasma gauntlet at Ethan, firing a bolt that scorched the air. Ethan rolled, the blast cratering the floor. "What the hell, man?" He spat, adrenaline spiking. Evan charged in, photon lance slicing through three soldiers' exosuits like cloth. "Focus, Hale!" he barked, visor glowing. Ethan synced deeper with sanctum systems, redirecting power to seal a breached wall. The core's hum stuttered, warning of collapse. He grit his teeth. "Gotta end this quick." Aurelia's skiff spun, taking out two drones with pinpoint shots. Her voice crackled over comms. "Ethan, behind you!" He spun, proto-blade meeting a soldier's vibro-axe. Sparks flew, the clash ringing in his ears. The protocol sharpened his moves, predicting the soldier's feint. He ducked, slashed, and the exosuit sparked out, the soldier collapsing. Varen advanced, his red compound eyes glinting. "Your genes will birth a new era," he sneered, arm charging another blast. Ethan's tech sense screamed, "Danger!" He dove behind a shifting wall, the blast melting it half through. Aurelia fired cover, her carbine's bolts forcing Varen to shield himself. "Keep him pinned!" Ethan shouted, rerouting core power again. The chamber shook harder. Alarms wailed, red lights strobing. Ethan's gauntlet fed him the core's status. 20% stability. He patched a workaround, boosting shields, but it was a bandage. They needed Varen down. Now, he and Aurelia moved as one, gauntlets synced. She fired, he slashed. Drones fell, soldiers scattered. Ethan's blade cut through a disruptor drone's core, its field collapsing in a static burst. His senses burned, the protocol pushing him past human limits. He saw Varen's next move, a feint left, real strike right. Ethan parried, blade locking with Varen's gauntlet. "You can't stop progress," Varen hissed, strength overwhelming. Ethan's arms strained, muscles screaming. Aurelia's carbine roared, a bolt grazing Varen's shoulder. He flinched, giving Ethan an opening. He kicked Varen's knee, servos whining as the director staggered. The core's hum dropped to a growl. Ethan's gauntlet flashed critical. "Core's gonna blow!" he yelled. He dove to a console, fingers flying to stabilize it. The protocol surged, his mind half machine, rerouting every joule. Walls solidified briefly, buying seconds. Aurelia grabbed his shoulder. "We can't hold much longer." Her eyes burned, fierce but scared. Ethan nodded, heart pounding. Varen regrouped, soldiers rallying. The director's voice cut through. "Surrender the key, Hale, or this place becomes your tomb." Ethan gripped his blade tighter. The protocol thrummed, a lifeline. Sanctum trembled, caught between worlds. He glanced at Aurelia, her carbine steady. Evan's lance flashed nearby, cutting another drone. The fight wasn't over. Not yet. Silence hit, a split-second pause. Ethan's breath caught. The core's hum steadied, just barely. He locked eyes with Varen. "Come get me," he growled. The siege roared back to life. Sanctum Argent's chamber quaked, its walls flickering between solid steel and liquid light as the quantum core teetered on collapse. Ethan Hale's protoblade hummed, its 10,000 hertz edge glowing hot from slicing Axiom drones. His gray eyes burned, the progenitor protocol in his veins pushing his senses to a razor's edge. 95% prediction accuracy. Every move calculated. Aurelia Laurent fought beside him, her pulse carbine spitting bolts, silvery blue hair plastered with sweat. Director Varen loomed ahead, his graphene exosuit sparking from Aurelia's last shot, his implanted arm pulsing with hacked energy. The core's alarms screamed. Ethan's neural gauntlet flashed. 10% stability. One wrong move, and Sanctum would trap them in conceptual space forever. He dodged a plasma bolt, Varen's red compound eyes tracking him. "Your genes are mine, Hale," the director roared, voice distorted through his suit's speakers. Then a weak voice cut through. "Enough!" Lady Seraphine stood, her silvery purple skin steady, no trace of the nanotoxin's glow. Ethan froze. You're okay? He stammered, blade lowering. Aurelia's carbine dipped, her golden eyes wide. What the hell, Aunt Seraphine? Seraphine's gaze was calm, too calm. I'm not your aunt. Not truly. Her robes shimmered as she stepped forward. I'm a bio-AI clone of Dr. Celeste Laurent. The poisoning was the Orpheus failsafe. A test for you, Ethan. Her words hit like a pulse blast. A clone? A test? Ethan's mind reeled, the protocol buzzing in his blood. Varen laughed, cold and sharp. Clever old bot. Doesn't change a thing. His arm charged, glowing brighter. Ethan's tech sense screamed, lethal output. He dove, shoving Aurelia behind a console. The blast scorched the air, melting a wall into slag. Aurelia grabbed Ethan's arm, voice low, urgent. I've got, something to tell you. My genes, they're tied to your mom's, grafted into me. We're connected. Her words were a gut punch. His mother's DNA in her? Ethan's chest tightened, but Varen's soldiers rallied, cutting off his thoughts. Evan's photon lance flashed, carving through two exosuits. Focus, Hale! He barked, visor glowing. Ethan nodded, syncing with Sanctum's core through his gauntlet. The protocol surged, his mind half machine. He rerouted power, bypassing Varen's hack. Give me a sec, he muttered, fingers flying. Gonna try something. He coded fast, the protocol amplifying his speed. A non-lethal EMP, wide burst, low yield. It could fry Axiom's tech without killing. The core whined, stabilizing at 15%. Ethan slammed the command. A pulse erupted, invisible but heavy. Drones sparked and fell. Soldiers' exosuits locked up, servos whining. Varen staggered, his implanted arm shorting out with a crackle. Ethan stood, blade ready. Varen was vulnerable, red eyes dimming. Finish it, Varen spat, struggling to move. Ethan's grip tightened. He could end him. Easy. But the Crucible's visions flashed. Power versus purpose. He lowered his blade. Not like this, he said, voice steady. You're done anyway. Aurelia's carbine stayed trained. You sure about that? She asked, hesitant. Ethan nodded. He's not worth it. His inner resolve hardened. I'm not just a key. My choices define me, not my blood. Hollow screens flickered. The Interplanetary Council's sigil appeared, their quantum relays broadcasting Axiom's attack galaxy-wide. A council voice boomed. Axiom Biotech is condemned. Assets seized. Justice served. Varen slumped, defeated, as 80% of his empire's 12 trillion credits vanished in real time. Seraphine approached, her form glitching faintly. My purpose is done, she said, voice soft. I must erase my data to prevent misuse. Before Ethan could protest, her eyes dimmed. Her body stilled, memory banks wiped clean. A faint hum faded. She was gone. Ethan's throat tightened. Aurelia's hand found his, a quiet anchor. She chose this, she whispered. He nodded, swallowing hard. The chamber fell silent, the core's hum steadying at last. He turned to the hollow table, syncing his gauntlet one last time. The protocol's data is streamed, ready to share. We're not hiding this, he said, voice firm. Open sea license, audited by 12 neutral planets. No one owns it. Aurelia's eyes lit up. You're sure? Yeah, he said, a faint grin breaking through. Let's make it right. He broadcast the protocol, its code spilling across the galaxy's networks. Transparent, free, a new era. The chamber's walls solidified, sanctum safe. Evan lowered his lance, nodding respect. Axiom soldiers were bound, their tech dead. The fight was over, but Ethan felt the weight of Aurelia's words, her genes, his mother's legacy. Their bond was more than fate. It was family. He glanced at her, her carbine lowered, golden eyes soft. The galaxy was shifting, and they'd face it together. The core's hum softened, a lull after the storm. Ethan's heart steadied. The protocol was free, but the real test was just beginning. Sanctum Argent's chamber glowed softly, its walls now stable, their liquid metal sheen reflecting the quiet hum of a restored quantum core. Ethan Hale stood at the holotable, his proto-blade sheathed, the neural gauntlet still warm on his hand. His gray eyes softened, the progenitor protocols buzz in his veins, now a steady pulse. Aurelia Laurent leaned against a console, her silvery blue hair loose, golden eyes catching the light. The fight was over. Axiom Biotech's empire shattered, its soldiers bound and disarmed. The galaxy had seen it all through the Council's relays. Ethan's boots scuffed the floor as he paced, tech sense still tingling from the core's energy. Zephyr Ward felt a lifetime away. The slum kid who'd fixed drones for scraps was gone. He'd faced the Crucible, defied Varen, and set the protocol free. Now he and Aurelia had a new mission. "We're not done," he said, voice low, steady. "This tech, it's gotta serve life, not war." They founded the Institute of Living Protocols in Zephyr Ward's rebuilt heart. The slums, once a neon-soaked maze of 3 million souls, saw new light. Biotech advancements cut poverty by 40% and clean water flows where runoff once pooled. The Institute's campus rose from the ashes, a sleek complex training 10,000 researchers to harness the protocol's healing potential. Ethan walked its halls, no longer in a patched jacket but a simple tunic, his broad shoulders carrying new weight, purpose. Aurelia worked beside him, her demi-human genes stabilized, no longer a mark of division. She moved with quiet confidence, her bodysuit traded for a researcher's coat. Their bond had deepened, rooted in shared loss and triumph. "You know," she said one day, calibrating a bioscanner, "I used to think my genes made me, I don't know, different, wrong. But you make it feel like home." Her golden eyes met his, a smile flickering. Ethan's chest warmed, but he smirked to hide it. "Yeah, well, don't get sappy. We got work to do." Her laugh was soft, grounding him. Their connection, his mother's DNA woven into her, wasn't just biology. It was trust, forged in Sanctum's fire. The open seed license spread the protocol galaxy-wide, audited twice yearly by 12 neutral planets. No megacorp could claim it. The Warden's conclave disbanded, entrusting Sanctum's tech to the Institute. Ethan often stood at the campus's edge, watching Helios ring stars. The galaxy, with its 200 inhabited worlds, was healing. Biotech clinics sprouted on barren colonies, curing plagues that Axiom once exploited. A new generation flocked to the Institute, inspired by Ethan's story. Kids from slums like Zephyr, human and alien, studied xenotech side by side. Ethan mentored them, his tech sense guiding their hands as they synced with alien systems. "It's not about the tech," he'd say, voice calm but firm. "It's about what you do with it." One evening, he and Aurelia stood on a balcony overlooking Zephyr's rebuilt streets. Neon still flickered, but the air was cleaner, the crowds less desperate. Ethan leaned on the railing, the weight of years settling. "Back in the ward," he said, voice slow, almost a whisper. "I thought power was surviving, fixing drones, dodging gangs. But this," he gestured to the campus, the stars. "This is real power, not genes, not tech. It's choosing to build something better, together." Aurelia nodded, her hand brushing his. "You're not that kid anymore, Ethan. You're a leader. Hell, you're a damn hero." Her tone was light, but her eyes held truth. He chuckled, shaking his head. "Hero, huh? Just trying not to screw this up." The galaxy wasn't perfect. Axiom's fall left scars, rogue factions, and black market tech. But the Institute stood as a beacon, its work transparent, its mission clear. Ethan's thoughts drifted to Seraphine, her sacrifice, to his parents, their legacy, to Aurelia, his anchor. The protocol wasn't his burden anymore. It was a gift shared. He straightened, gray eyes bright. "We keep going," he said, voice steady. "For Zephyr, for the 200 worlds, for everyone who gets a shot because we didn't hoard this." Aurelia squeezed his hand. Damn right, she said, a grin breaking through. The stars burned above, endless and alive. Ethan felt the galaxy's pulse, steady now, like his own. The fight for survival was over. The fight for hope had just begun.